Are we ready to go? With our good friend Nick Wright from Fox Sports 1. Oh my goodness, it's time for his annual mea culpa about the Golden State Warriors. I mean, let's face it, I've known Nick for a really, really long time, going back to him just being a radio bum like me in Houston. And he was wrong about the Rockets and Harden. And then, oh my goodness, it's the Cavaliers and LeBron, and he's trying to insist that one is greater than three. It is not. Kevin Durant left. They'll never go back. They'll never win another. It's got to be Andrew Wiggins. Worst decision of all time. They're a win away from another NBA Finals appearance over a team that I think he predicted would sweep. I love you, Nick Wright. How are you, man?
Hi, this son of a gun. I almost cursed. Hi, Damon. Hi, Ray. Hi, whoever else is there to help carry Damon's sorry ass through 4 hours of radio.
3. Get a better agent.
They've cut your show down. I would have cut it down to 30 minutes. I just want to make it very clear here. 2 things. First of all, in a few minutes, you might hear a little background noise. You might even hear me saying something not to you. That's because just to get through this interview, I have to walk to my local bodega and buy a couple Lucy cigarettes. That's how much you stress me out. That's first of all. Second of all, I want to say this. This idea that I owe any mea culpas for anything, for being the only man in America with the guts and the foresight to say the Dallas Mavericks could get even this far, much less maybe win the series. This series is not over, is an outrage, and I would expect more from you, my alleged friend. And the last point I want to make is this. As much as I dislike Damon Bruce, I do want the audience to know, because he said, he once was a humble radio guy like me. I may have, in a time of weakness and stupidity, set Damon Bruce up with an interview to become a television talking head like myself. And you know what he said? Don't want to leave San Francisco. Don't want to leave these jackass Warrior fans. So he stayed. He could have been like me on television, lavished in money and bad takes. Instead, he stayed with you guys. So you guys be nice to him, even though I won't be. But go ahead. Hi, good to talk to you.
Oh, great to talk to you. By the way, I love how you're complaining about how inconvenient this interview is. When you picked the time and the date, literally ball was in your court. So
I didn't think the Mavs were going to be down 3-1 when I picked it, buddy. That's what's inconvenient about it.
That's what's inconvenient.
I was lying about the background noise. Can I get 2 Lucy's? Thank you. Okay, now we're ready to go.
So are you just picking up some Noopies there? You got some menthols,
Yeah.
or you pulling some Swisher Sweets?
No, I have 2 Newport 100s in my hand because I figure that's what it's going to take to get me through this interview.
But wait a minute,
knocking me off the cigarette wagon,
dude.
You stress me out, man.
You are sitting there with the big TV paycheck buying Lucy's.
Well, yeah, man. Some things are in your marrow. Some things are down in your bones.
Like
Some
being wrong about the
feel.
Warriors. Like being wrong about the Warriors. How many times do they have to show you that their way of doing things, their system, has been the most dominant entity in the NBA, but for 2 injuries to Klay Thompson, not Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant leaving the Golden State Warriors didn't stop the dynasty. It was Klay tearing his ACL because they otherwise beat the Toronto Raptors in Game 6 and probably go back to Toronto and get Game 7. So Durant is literally getting swept out of the playoffs while Steph Curry and company are still doing their thing at a mighty fine level.
Listen, so I would, because I know your audience is going to kill me, I would like to pay tribute to Steph Curry in just a moment. However, before that, I would like to say, when you say what more do they have to do, what did, your favorite president, Donald Trump, once say? I like guys who don't get captured. I do typically like teams that don't miss the playoffs in consecutive years, which the Warriors did right after the Andrew Wiggins acquisition. So that take was looking golden.
All right, so Steph Curry didn't play one of those years, but let's just overlook that.
Back-to-back years missing the playoffs. I mean, it's not great. However, now you guys are a win away from the finals. This is what I would like to say about Steph Curry. Because, once upon a time I was called a Steph Curry hater. I was called a Steph Curry critic. I didn't like that his wife accused the league of being rigged. I didn't like that he assaulted a fan with his mouthpiece.
Assaulted a fan with his mouthpiece. Oh, my God.
However, with that said, I would like to say this. I think it is undeniable that Steph Curry is 1 win away and maybe 0 wins away, maybe doesn't even need one more win, to becoming the unequivocal second-best guy of the era. Like, even the Warrior fans are not going to put Steph ahead of LeBron. I don't want to have a Steph-LeBron argument. That's not what I'm trying to do. But going into this year, I do think Steph versus Durant was a real debate. And going into 2 weeks ago, I think Steph versus Durant versus Giannis was going to become a real debate if Giannis had won the title this year. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh boy, Giannis is, kind of just run roughshod over the league for 2 straight years. But given the fact that Giannis, even if it wasn't on him, they lost. And given the fact that Durant got swept in round 1 this year, and Steph, I still don't think this Warriors team is a great team because Clay has the highest approval rating of anyone in the league, and he should. He's the most likable superstar, once superstar in the league, but he's not the same guy he was. And it makes me sad because it's not his fault that it's injury. Jordan Poole is the traffic cone that Patrick Beverley tried to make Chris Paul out to be. And Draymond Green celebrates every shot he makes like it's a game-winning jump shot because he is so shocked he made it.
I mean, it is cause for celebration.
Yeah, yet despite that, the Warriors are a win away from the finals. The Warriors have lost, how many games have they lost this postseason? 4? 5? It's not many, whatever it is. And Steph Curry is and now Looney's been great in this series, and Wiggins has been way better than I ever thought he would be. But Steph Curry is making an argument that of the last 50 years of basketball, he's, right behind Shaquille O'Neal and Dr. J, or maybe ahead of one of them, for that 10, 11, 12, 13 spot. And it's remarkable how he's aged, and it's remarkable what he's doing. So let me pay tribute to Chef Curry and then explain to you why the Mavs might still win the series.
Okay, no, hold on. We don't have enough time for that, of course. But you cannot honestly believe that the Mavericks have done anything other than extend this series. There's a big difference between extending a series and getting back into a series. Now, if the Mavericks win Game 5, we have something to talk about. But until they win Game 5, and I don't think they do, there's really nothing here to talk about.
Okay, well, here's what I think. I think that Game 4 was instructive because the Mavs didn't roll over. The Mavs had some quotes after Game 3 that were concerning to me. I don't know if you guys talked about it.
Oh, we did.
But
they're past tense and everything.
They talked about how it's a building point and how it's positive and all that stuff. I didn't like those quotes. Those quotes are what you say when your season's over and their season wasn't over. So I was a little worried that they were going to just roll over, but they didn't. And I do think that you saw everyone's focused on in Game 4 that they hit 23s or however many threes they hit. To me, what was more relevant was that the Warriors had 70 points through 3 quarters. And then I take that, and I also take the fact that the Mavs, I don't think, are scared of playing in where do you guys play now? Palo Alto? It's not Oakland anymore. You guys left your real fans. Where do you play now?
San Francisco. San Francisco, California.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. San Francisco.
It's just the greatest city on the West Coast. You can overlook it easily.
But that I don't think they're scared of playing there because they had you guys down 14 at halftime there, and then they fell apart. In the Game 2, likely, if the Warriors win the series, you're going to look back on Game 2 and say that was the series pivot point. With that said, I don't think it's crazy to say the Mavs will win Game 5. And if they win Game 5, oh boy, that pressure on you guys becomes immense.
Hold on. The pressure might have been immense had they not hung 3 pelts on the wall, had they not gone to 5 consecutive NBA finals. I mean, this is not a team that is impressed by this stage, uncomfortable on this stage. They've been here, done that in so many different ways, Nick, and you dismiss who they still are. I'm glad, by the way, you said Kevon Looney. I was wondering if you would even be able to, name the Warriors starting center, but
give me a break. Listen, everyone's killing me just killing me for being wrong about this series. Ostensibly wrong. Not officially wrong yet, but wrong. My apologies that I didn't think Kevon Looney
it's one mea culpa. Told you you'd get one, everybody.
We're going to turn into Mark Eaton and Karl Malone from 1987. I'm sorry I didn't see that coming, America. Jesus Christ. They combined for 35, 17, and 6 through 70% shooting through the first 3 games. I didn't bake that into my analysis. I'm sorry for that. Kevon Looney is doing what Rudy Gobert and DeAndre Ayton couldn't do, which is making the Mavs pay for playing small. You're up against 2 centers, one of which makes $40 million, the other of which wants to make $40 million, and they couldn't make the Mavs pay for playing small. I didn't know. That's what bothers me. You guys just drip this little light years magical dust on these guys, and guys who have never been this, whether it's JaVale McGee, Andrew Wiggins, or Kevon Looney, all of a sudden are living their best lives. And I'm not going to lie, it's a little tilting.
It's called culture.
For me, a guy who has lost a lot of money betting against the Warriors, it's tilting. See, I'm like, Kevon Looney? Is he worth $14 million a year? Maybe. But then he'll go somewhere else, and he'll turn into Kevon Looney again. I don't like it. I really don't like it, Damon. It's frustrating.
You said somewhere along the line in this conversation, maybe about a half an hour ago, that the Warriors were not a great team. And while I will agree with you about that, isn't it a fact that none of the other 3 teams are particularly great either? And that whoever comes out and wins this is going to be known as a not great champion?
Well, listen, I think all champions have a level of greatness because I think winning the title is so hard. But yes, I don't think that this year, we had more really good and solid teams than almost any year I can remember. I'll use a random example. The Cleveland Cavaliers didn't end up even being a playoff team. And there were times this year you're like, damn, they're good. And they couldn't even make the playoffs. Now they dealt with injuries. So I think what we saw this year was almost a flattening of the curve, so to speak. I don't think there was a great team in the NBA this year. The alleged great team was the Suns, but I never believed in them. I don't know if you guys did or not. I thought they were good, but not a great team. And so, but listen, titles, I don't know who first said it, but banners hang forever. And if you guys win one more game, Steph, and I don't know if you've talked about this, I've talked about this quite a bit. Steph, the list of guys who have won a league MVP and shown up in 6 finals are the following. And I'm doing this off the top of my head while smoking a cigarette after a couple cocktails because it's quite late on the East Coast. But I think I'm going to get it right. And Ray, you can fact check me on this because I assume you covered all these players. Bob Cousy, Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Tim Duncan, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. I believe it's 9 guys who have been to 6 or more finals and won a league MVP. Steph's 1 win away from that. And with respect to, Mad Dog Russo, Bob Cousy is in a different category, but those other 8 guys are 8 of the 10 all-time greatest. Or 8 of the 11 all-time greatest. I think Shaq's probably 11. Steph's a win away from etching his name on that list and doing it in a selfless way where he has been the centrifugal force of the whole thing. And I got nothing but respect for the guy. And he's someone who is rooting for the Mavs and gambles on these games. Steph does still instill a level of fear unlike almost anyone else in the sport. And I just have to tip my cap to him. And he's learned and become a more than adequate defender. Because of his size, he's never going to be like a dominant defender, but he's good. And so, listen, I give him all the credit in the world. I give Damon no credit at all, and it really bothers me that he gets to, ride this wave of greatness. It's not fair. He should have been a Kings fan.
We're talking to Nick Wright from a Harlem bodega where he's picked up his Lucy's and is about to have a great Wednesday night. I got to ask you about the other side of the bracket. Since you have no grasp of what's going on the West Coast, maybe, underneath your own nose on the East Coast, you're a little bit more aware of what's going on. And I think it's a fair question. What the hell do you think is going on between the Celtics and Heat? And who do you think comes out of that?
Well, I picked Heat in 7. And when I made the pick, I said, there's going to be a game. I said this on the show. There's going to be a game the Heat score 77 points and look like the worst team in basketball. And I undershot it by 5. They scored 82 and looked like just a terrible team. Here's what I think is, now, listen, Tyler Hero's out tonight, and if Jimmy Butler's compromised, they're drawing dead. Jimmy Butler has to be able to be great, and he is a great playoff performer. A great playoff performer. He is, you'll like this, because you're right, I argued with you about James Harden, and I was wrong on that one. He's the bizarro James Harden. He has okay regular season numbers, and then in the last 6 years, he has 5 40-point games. They've all been in the playoffs. This postseason, before 2 games ago, when he had to miss half a game and then he played poorly in Game 4 because he was hurt, he was averaging 30 points on 53% shooting. Like, he's been a great playoff performer. So Butler's a little underrated. But the other thing that happens with the Heat is this. People in basketball media overrate the importance of what a team looks like at their best and underrate the importance of consistency. So I think there are teams that, you know what, I'll use the Memphis Grizzlies as an example. The Grizzlies rolling look like, are they going to win the title? Like, they've got this great defense. Ja's the best athlete in basketball. They've got this knockdown shooter in Bane. They have all these things. But why did the Grizzlies, even if Ja was healthy, why would they probably lost the Warriors? Because their median game is not great. Their A-plus game is a 97 out of 100, but their average game is like an 86. The Heat, their A-plus game is like a 91, but their average game is like an 89. And that's how they get the 1 seed. That's how they made the finals 2 years ago, is they very rarely have these dreadful performances. They always fight. They always show up. So if Jimmy is healthy, I think they win the series in 7. If he's not, obviously the Celtics will win. And I just think the Celtics are in a weird spot where Tatum is, to continue that analogy a bit, Tatum's A-plus, Game 6 against staring Giannis down is an all-time moment. On the road against the best player in the league, he goes shot for shot, toe-to-toe with him, and beats him. But then Tatum also, it's like, he went 4 for 19 again? Like, I don't think he's reliable yet, but it won't matter if the Heat are too damaged.
How much do you think the fact that Miami and Boston are probably going to wear each other out to get somebody to the finals works in Golden State's favor, or does that make much difference to you?
Oh, no, it makes a huge difference.
It'll be the argument that he starts that Monday show with.
Wait, say that again, Damon? I didn't hear that.
It'll be the argument that you start that Monday show with. The Warriors will win a title because the other team's too tired.
No, listen. You know what? Can we be fair on something? I think you and I, in the 4 times the Warriors and Cavs played each other, I think you and I had the same record in predicting the finals. I think we both went 3-1. I picked the Cavs. Oh, no, that's not true. I went 2-2. You went 3-1. Damn. Okay, all right, I take it back. You still have that trump card on me. That sucks. All right, but moving ahead. I don't know what I'm going to say on Monday. What I am going to say is the Heat seem really banged up, and the Celtics went through a war in round 2, and it looks like they're in for a war in round 3, and we'll see what happens with the Warriors series. Now, I happen to believe everyone is just discounting the Mavericks. We've seen 3-1 comebacks. And people are, Damon, you might not be as much of a degenerate gambler as me, but I know you like a game of chance or two. If you're playing blackjack and the dealer has a 10 and you're showing a total of 6, your chances are very slim. But then if you draw a 4 and now it's a 10 against a 10, your chances have changed considerably. Everyone is still bringing up the 3-0 stats. Well, the Mavs just drew a 4. They just won a game. Now it's 3-1 stats. It's a totally different world. I don't know why everyone's writing off the Mavs. I don't think they're dead yet. I do think. What? Go ahead.
There's only 75 years of NBA history, and the experiment's been run 146 times, and it's 0 for 146. But good luck. Good luck playing those odds.
Hold on.
Good luck.
Can you say something?
Phil Hellmuth should be worried.
You just made an error because you said 0 for 146. That's true. But 90 of those 146 lost game 4. So that part of the sample is now irrelevant. Now we're to 56. We're like, oh, is there a chance for a 1 in 56 chance to come in? Maybe. And then all of a sudden, everyone. That's what I'm saying. Everyone keeps bringing up the 3-0 stats, but it's not 3-0 anymore. It is now 3-1, and we need to adjust our eyes to that. And so that's fine. Can I make a request?
Please.
If this gets to a game 7, can I come on this show before that?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
Looking forward to it, as a matter of fact.
Nice of you.
Absolutely.
That's really just one win away. Because we all know if it gets to a game 6, the Mavs are winning game 6 in Dallas. So I just need one win.
Yeah, I mean,
I just need the Mavs.
The Warriors, who have won 26 consecutive series, winning a road game, and they've already won one in Dallas. There's no way that they could possibly win game 6 back in Dallas. Look, we're up against it. You know how radio works. You're a brilliant whatever it is at what you are. I will tell you that, sir. I will tell you that, and that is a true compliment. And, on the way out, let me give another true compliment. 2 of my favorite guys in sports media are Nick Wright, for whatever reason. Still haven't quite figured it out. Ethan Sherwood-Strauss, and I loved the back and forth that you guys had on his podcast, and you brought up Radio Ethan, and it was a really good back and forth between 2 guys who know where a lot of bodies are buried. I know you got a podcast that you're doing with your son. Tell us about it. You get to plug it once, and then go hit your Lucy's.
Okay, yeah. So What's Right with Nick Wright? It's on YouTube. It's on wherever you get your podcasts. If you would like to hear my non-sports stuff, there's a little bit of that there. And I would have listened. Here's the deal. I'm going to whisper this part of it. I don't need you to actually listen to it. Just subscribe to it. They haven't figured out if you listen or not. They just know if I have subscribers. So right now, on your fancy iPhones that were made a block from your house and your guys' fancy downtown San Francisco palaces that you all live in, I'm sure, just open up the podcast app, type in What's Right with Nick Wright, click subscribe, and never think about me again. And if you do that, then I'll keep coming on Damon's show for free, the only radio show I go on in America without getting a hefty appearance fee, mind you, because I oddly like this idiot, and it'll allow me to keep doing that. That's all. Thanks, Ray. Anything I can ever do for you, I will gladly do for free. Damon, I'll talk to you before Game 7.
Oh, yeah, bank on it. Thank you very much, Nick Wright. A tour de force performance here on 95.7 The Game.
It's a parrot with Tourette's.